Hello, welcome to FOPY'sFrance. Jan here, as most of you already know. But today, as usual, I'm trying to come up with something that I wanted to make, and this is another thing that's been on my list. I can't remember if I've actually mentioned it to you, but those of you in America will know what I'm trying to explain. The ice bags or ice pack bags. I think in America they have like a screw top to them, and you put ice in them and screw the top on, and you use them as a cold compress if you've got a headache or basically anywhere in your body. And I thought I'd make one of those. When I had the idea, I'd forgotten that it was had a screw top, I must admit. But then I remembered that what we tend to do is use a bag of frozen peas or something like that, or maybe even some ice in a plastic bag. So I've come up with making one of these. I mean, it looks like a little mop cap. And what I've done is I've made my own pattern again, and I've stitched and put this on the outside, and again, like I did with my baguette bag, I've used shower curtain on the inside to make it waterproof. And I double layered it, so it should be okay. And then I've got these, I've threaded through some cord, and I've got some of these stoppers. I think you've probably seen me use them before. I've ordered these off of Amazon. They didn't come in this jar. This is just one of Duncan's electrical jars, but they've come in very handy. So this is the one I made earlier, so to speak. And once I'd made it, I thought it's a little bit small. Although it's probably great, you know, if it is for a headache or something, or for a small area, just to hold it on or whatever. But you won't get an awful lot in there. But it was a really good practice run, and I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. So what I've done for the next one, I've extended the pattern by 5 centimetres all the way around, just to give me that little bit more. And I even thought about making a square one, but I couldn't quite work out the best way to do that. So I've just done a bigger version of this. So let's go. I'm going to put photos on screen in between so you can see more close up on certain things I'm doing. But what I've done is I've found some more out of my scrap box, enough to do that, which is a nice sizable piece. And as I say, 2 layers of the shower curtain. So what I'm going to do first, as I did with this one, I'll go around with the serger all the way around to make it nice and tidy and to hold it all together. And then what I do is turn it inside out and then top stitch it. And there's no better way really of telling you what I'm talking about by just doing it and showing you. So I'll go to the serger and then I'll get that done, and I'll be back with you. I'll take the time because it's always a bit tricky going round in a circle. Squares are much easier. Remember not to go all the way around because I need an opening to turn it back the other way. So to mark it. There we go, all the way round. Now I'm going to turn it back the other way. Before I turn it back the other way, I'm going to tuck my two ends in. I nearly put a video up of Duncan actually this week, because he's been creating again. He's making a compost toilet in the garden, which is going to be fantastic for when we're gardening. It might even come in handy when we have the garden party in July. Right, let's turn this back the other way. I have to remove my cardigan because I'm very warm again. It's been on and off all day today. Right, let's see if I can get my hand in there and push that out a little bit. A sec. I did think about ironing this and pressing it, but obviously when you've got this plastic on this side, or nylon or whatever it is, not a good idea. You end up burning a hole in it on the other side, even though I'm on the cotton side, it would still, heat would still get through. So now I've got to fold that over and pin it, and then I'll top stitch on the machine. From what I can gather, it's only a small thing, but the scrub, a sponge thing that I made last week has gone down fairly well, and I was really pleased with it. I've been using it this week and it worked out really well, so I'm pleased with that. I just need to try and look out for some foam now so that I can get some more. I don't know where I'll get it from because I really don't, it's expensive to buy in the shops, so I'm just hoping I can find it in a charity shop, or if someone's got some they might be able to give me some. Right, let me top stitch that. Apologies if you can hear a whirring noise, but I've just had to put the fan on. Being in the loft, the heat outside has really built up inside here today. Okay, let's top stitch this. I would have preferred to have pressed that down, but as I say, I don't want to burn the plastic. There we go. Now what I'm going to do now is put this, it's not really a ribbon, well it's like I don't know, let's call it a cotton ribbon. I happen to have some that I'd picked up at the charity shop, and there was just enough to go round here. I'm going to do the same as I did with the other one. You obviously didn't see that, but I can tell you this is what I did. Instead of having to thread the cord through afterwards, I'm putting this on now, stitching round once, and then what I've got here, it's like a nice white piece of rope, a thin rope, and I'll hold that in. Easier to show you. I'll get on and pin this in place first. I'm just going to tuck the end over on there because it looks like it may fray, just to make sure it doesn't there, and just about 1 centimetre in from the edge, pin that in place, because that's the end that the cord, one of the ends that the cord or rope will come out from. You can imagine this isn't the easiest thing, putting a straight thing around a bend, but it's okay. It worked on the other one, so. And I found doing it with this, it was much easier to actually put the rope in before sewing than trying to, though I normally, it's not one of my certainly pet hates, but I don't enjoy it when you thread it through. I mean, it's great when it works, but if it doesn't and it takes ages, or what you're threading through keeps coming off of your pin, it's a bit of a nightmare. I did say in my video that I was going to be doing the basket with Sharon, but it's quite awkward actually, because there's not quite enough room in Sharon's craft room to do it there, and because it's quite a bulky thing, so we'd have to do it downstairs, and then we'd have to make sure, like we did with the painting, I suppose, we've got to make sure we bring everything into the living room. We will do it. It's just to be perfectly honest, we've just been so busy with other things. There's been appointments and getting the garden set for the summer, getting everything planted, and as you'll see on FOPY'sFrance, there's been lots going on in the garden. And we've also been doing Sharon's garden, because otherwise she would have missed out this year on getting some vegetables going. So we planted potatoes and onions for her, and what else did we plant? Some butternut squash that she bought the other day as well, and tomatoes. Oh, courgettes, that was it. So the plan is that some of the things that she will grow, I won't grow, and then we can swap, assuming we will have a good crop. Whew, I might have to turn that fan up. Very warm. Off to our neighbours, Natalie and Leon's tomorrow. It was Leon's birthday on Tuesday. It's obviously not advisable to have a drink during the week, so we're going tomorrow. That should be fun. Sharon's coming too. It's going to be quite well, it's not tomorrow actually, it's Saturday. I keep thinking today's Friday. No, tomorrow is still quite exciting, but it's going to be hard work. We're picking up a ton of gravel to put around my flower beds or my vegetable beds in the garden. So that will be tomorrow taken up, and we're going to be very tired tomorrow night. Right, bend that back again like I did the other end. So we've got a gap there to thread in. Small pin. There you go. So it's all pinned in place. What I'm going to do is just stitch all around the outside of that ribbon, and then I'll show you what I do next. Incidentally, obviously my pattern is very simple. It's just a circle. Although I say simple, it depends on if I can find something to make the right size with. So I started off, the inner line is from the lid off of my sewing box, and then I thought I'll add 2 more centimetres on to allow for folding over, and then I ended up having another 2 centimetres on so I could double it over so it'd be tidy. And of course then with this one, as you can see, I ended up making it much bigger anyway. But it's cheaper than buying a pattern. Hi, this is Future Jan here. I'm afraid I had to mute the conversation, well, the whole video on this part, because I did turn the fan up and I hadn't realised at the time, but when I was editing and playing it back, I couldn't hear a word I was saying because the fan, every time it oscillated round and it blew past my microphone, it was so loud. It was like a really bad windy day, so you couldn't hear a thing I was saying, so I had to mute it. So I was just basically just explaining obviously what I'm doing. This is where I'm just stitching the ribbon all around the outside prior to what you'll see in a minute, putting the rope underneath that ribbon. Just trimming my ends off. Right, now I'm placing the rope underneath that ribbon as close to the stitching I've just done as I can get it, just to make sure that when I sew around get the other side of that ribbon, that it doesn't catch the rope. I mean, it's quite a big casing really for that size rope, but I'd rather that than it be too small. And if I'd have been using a narrower ribbon, I might have tacked that in place or basted that in place rather than have to worry about the pins, but being as it's quite wide, the pins just not really going to get in the way that much. I did start to say about something that happened to me, which I thought you all might find quite amusing. I went and did some shopping last week, and for like food shopping, and for myself and for Sharon. And when I got to the till, I put all the shopping up and everything, and put Sharon's shopping through, and gave my loyalty card over, and then when it came to my shopping, I couldn't see my loyalty card anywhere. So I thought, oh, that's great, I've got the bigger part of the shopping, yet I couldn't get the points. So anyway, so there was a bit of a panic on trying to find it, and so in the end I just thought, oh, it's points, what does it matter, you know. So then I took the shopping to the car, and then put the shopping away, put it all in, got in the car. I had to drive to the pharmacy to get something for Sharon. When I got to the pharmacy, I've gone to my bag to get my phone out because I'd taken a photograph of, or got a photograph should I say, of what it was that Sharon needed, and I wanted to make sure I was buying the right thing. And I couldn't find my phone, so I was in a bit of a panic then, as I'm sure you can imagine. So I've run back to the car, got back and I'm looking, searching the whole car, cannot find it. So I thought, well, I must have dropped it at the supermarket. So I've driven all the way back to the supermarket, checked to see if anybody's handed it in, and they hadn't. And so I'm getting myself in a real panic now. My life's in that phone, as I'm sure you can imagine. And the more I thought about it on the way home, the more panicky I was getting. I was crying, and if anybody could see me driving, I thought, what's the matter with that woman? And as I'm on the way home, I thought, well, I'll get Duncan to have a look, because he was home that day. I'll get him to have a look as well, in case I just can't see for looking. You know what it's like. And then he drove past me the other way. I thought, oh no, I'm not, you can't help me look. And I'm just, you just think really stupidly when you get in that state. So I got in and I immediately phoned him, telling him what had happened, what I thought he was going to do. I don't know, from the fact that he was driving the other way. And so in the end, I just left a message saying, I'm going to look through the car again, get the shopping in and see what's what. And I went back to the car, pulled the seat forward to get the shopping off the back seat, and there was my phone on the floor. I just happened to see the camera lens on the floor underneath something. Why I didn't see it before when I was searching the car, I'll never know. I'm sure we go blind on these occasions, don't you, when you can't see for looking, as they say. So yeah, then I had to phone him then and say, panic over, don't worry, I've found it. And of course later on he played my message back and I sounded like a real blubbering wreck. Anyway, I've got my phone, my life is saved. Anyway, here you can see I've sewn both sides of the ribbon down now, and I'm pulling the rope through and gathering it up. It's always a bit of a struggle. I sometimes think I should rub soap or something on the cord to make it slip through past the fabric a bit easier, but I hadn't thought of, obviously, on this occasion. And once I'd pulled it all together, I realised I didn't really need to have made the cord as long as I had, so I was sort of judging then. I sort of opened it a little bit so that I could see roughly how big I would open it to put something inside it, and then see how much rope I could actually just cut off. So that's what I ended up doing. So here you can see the ends of the rope are a little bit frayed. When I did the first one, I did put sellotape around each piece, squash the end down quite small so that both pieces would thread through that pink clasp. Because it's on you probably know from if you've got sweatshirts and bags, they're springy, those little clasps. So you have to sort of open it and push it through at the same time. And if it's frayed, it's just never going to go through. This was a bit frayed, but I did eventually manage to get it through. It wasn't too bad. I think I will do something like try and melt the ends with a lighter or something. I didn't do that on camera. I'm always a bit nervous I'm going to set everything alight when I start doing something like that. Okay, that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you make any. As I say, they're two different sizes. My little ice bags. I'm sure they could be used for several other things, but let me know if you come up with any ideas. You normally do say if you've come up with an idea what it could be used for. I mean, in my scrunchy sponges last week, someone's come up with saying that you could make them for the bathroom as well, for washing with and things like that, which was a great idea. I found a little bit more of the plastic mesh today, so I might make another one, and because I've been using mine this week and it worked out really well, so I'm pleased with that. There we go. It's another useful thing. So I'll see you next week. Bye.